Namaste everyone. As we've just finished our invocation, which was in Swastikasana, we will start our class by explaining or delving deeper into Swastikasana. For Swastikasana, the practitioner starts with a bent leg position, where from the leg being absolutely straight to the leg completely bent where the heel is close to the buttock, we assume a halfway position where the foot is halfway extended, neither completely straight nor completely bent, as the practitioner is showing you. In this position, we start with a hip width apart understanding. By hip width, we take the distance or we calculate the distance from hip to hip, which varies from person to person, but that should be our guide. Maintaining this hip width distance between the knees and ankle would be important so that every joint gets the same harmonious distance. As wide as the hips, so wide the outer edges of the knee, so wide the outer edges of the foot. Now, within this, the kneecap should face the ceiling. Now, if the kneecap drops inside, this pronates the foot. And if the kneecap drops outside, this supinates the foot, which distorts the ankle and prevents the sole of the foot from getting equally contacted. So the knees will remain facing the ceiling and the ankles will be kept square, and that the knees will monitor by being absolutely straight, not falling out or falling in. In this position, we have to ensure that the spine is lifted, which I'll soon come to. Now, in order to go to Swastikasana, the practitioner first crosses the legs. So the leg goes into an X or cross position. Again, there are many ways to do Swastikasana. This is the first method that we are introducing. In this position, the practitioner then proceeds to lift the toes or foot up, and then with the palms holds the little toe edge of the foot. So it is the sole of the palm coming on the sole of the foot. The palm does not go over the foot like that. The sole of the palm holds the sole of the foot, and the outer edge of the foot is well gripped. Now, pulling the foot deep within, where the foot comes close to the base of the thigh, the practitioner then releases the thigh over the foot and keeps the hand by the side. Now, we have to take the time to ensure that while we are doing Swastikasana, the hand holding the outer edge of the foot manipulates the outer edge of the foot so that while you cross your leg, the outer or the sharp little toe edge of the foot gets contacted, and the thigh that goes over the foot ensures that there is firmness and anchoring on that outer edge of the foot. The outer edge of the foot is elaborately used in standing poses. So right at this point, we acclimatize ourselves to sensitizing and feeling the outer edge of the foot. Here, the thigh anchors the outer edge of the foot, and the foot supports the thigh, that is, supports the knee joint from hanging. The foot should be completely within. Now, in this position, I would like to add some detail. As you can see, the knee is slightly elevated compared to the hip. Usually, the thigh should feel rested on the foot. Even though the angle is elevated, the thigh should feel rested on the foot. Now, if you can see in Supriya, the thigh is not rested on the foot, rather the thigh seems to be elevated. Usually, there is a counterpart to this position. When we sit in Swastikasana, we have to ensure that the hip is not dropping to the floor and the back, the posterior hip, is lifting. The posterior hip, which encases the root of the spine, that is the sacrum and tailbone, should not drop. If the base of the spine, sacrum and tailbone drop, it will allow the entire spine or cause the entire spine to shrink and collapse, and it will compress the organic body. For that, we have to ensure that the hip is lifted. Now, in order to lift the hip, it is important that we are able to rest the thigh. As you can see, if the thigh comes up, it will provide a greater opportunity to drop the hip. So, in case the thigh is not resting like this and the thigh is elevated, then it is advisable for the practitioner to use height, as we will show you now. So again, she will cross her legs, hold the outer edges of the foot, sensitize the outer edge of the foot, pull it in, and allow the thighs to rest. Now, as you can see in this position, the thigh goes down, allowing the hip to come up, which eventually raises the spine as well. As long as the knee remains agitated, not resting on the foot, it will collapse the hip. So when you allow the thighs to rest and elevate the hips to a higher plane, like I show, automatically that higher plane of the hip will allow the spine to elevate. So always remember, we are not dropping the hip to the floor, the hip is raised up. We again should construe the word up properly, as in we are lifting the spine from bottom to top. We are not really pushing the lower back in, thinking that we are lifting the spine. Many times practitioners or we practitioners tend to do that, where we tend to push the lower back in. Rather, we have to think that we are rolling the buttock up while keeping the hips elevated. In this position, we have to ensure that we are creating a tall spine. That is, posteriorly, the hip elevates. Anteriorly, the region of the abdomen lifts away from the thigh. So keeping the thigh rested, the abdomen lifts up. As the abdomen lifts up, the chest further lifts up until the anterior profile of the chest is raised all the way until the clavicles and shoulders. The sides of the body, from the outer groins all the way to the outer armpits, raise up vertically. That is again something that we need to watch. When we raise the spine, it is a linear lift. We are not trying to push forward. I'll explain about this a little further now. Moving up to the region of the chest, in order to keep the chest and the cardiovascular system nicely open, we are looking at three components. The clavicle needs to be kept broad. As you open the clavicle, it allows your chest to have a certain expansiveness and a broad girth. So the clavicle, from the point where it attaches to the sternum, all the way until it inserts to the shoulder, you want to have vastly open clavicles, which allows the chest to open. Open clavicles automatically allows the upper arm to progress towards the back of the socket. But then, the arm being or the shoulder being a ball and socket joint, we are not just pushing the upper arm back. Rather, after the clavicles are open, the upper arm rolls back and down, which then gives the basis for our chest to elevate upward. So as the clavicle opens, which is step 1, that action guides the upper arm back. Then further, rolling our upper arms back into the socket further and down, we allow the chest to elevate. Once the chest is elevated, the back ribs and shoulder blade move into the body as if it comes in to support the organic body. These three components of the upper chest needs to be executed. Clavicles open for a broad chest, upper arm rolling towards the back of the socket to lift the chest up and fixing the shoulder blade in. Now, when you do this shoulder blade fixing in, many times we tend to push the upper thorax forward away from the hip, which prevents the linear length of the spine. It breaks the spine forward while our hips remain hanging backward. So we should ensure that the side body remains lifted in a straight line, which means as the back ribs come in, we are still ensuring that the rib cage sits over the pelvis and is not driven in front. So back ribs come in, but the rib cage sits over the pelvis. That organization or alignment needs to be done. Now, from this point onwards, we then proceed to Dandasana. In order to move to Dandasana, we raise our knees up as if we are undoing the action of crisscrossing, and then we open our legs hip width apart again, ensuring that the outer ankles, outer knees are as wide as the outer hip with the kneecaps facing the ceiling. Now, while we extend our legs to Dandasana, you will continue to keep your legs hip width apart in case you experience abdominal, lower back issues. If you don't have abdominal or lower back issues, then in the bent leg position, you will join your feet